This is so important for us as women to learn to be independent and to know how to deal with money, how to have our own finances. We live longer than men, but men are actually a lot of times in control of our money. So a lot of times when the husband is passing away, the women are lost. My
Yes.
mother was lost like this. She suddenly lost my father. He was totally healthy, and suddenly they discovered cancer. He was gone within 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And then we realized that she never paid bills. I did not even know about that. She never paid bills by herself. She didn't know where to start. She didn't know what she has, what accounts she has. And I see a lot of women like this.
Hello and welcome to the Feel Podcast. I'm here today with a new friend. I actually met her last spring. And you all remember earlier this season when I shared Angela Yacobelis with you. Well, Angela and Irina are business partners, they work together. I met them both last spring of 2025 at a conference we were all at, a seminar we were all at together, speaking, presenting, and participating in down in Thousand Oaks, California. And I knew they had a table right next to mine as we were sharing our resources. And I got a chance to visit with them that day and learned how their stories are so connected to how they show up and help people today, help women today, dealing with those financial matters and that planning that can sneak up on us, but it doesn't have to. And Irina's story and how she got to this space is really tightly wound together and really part of her whole journey. And so we're going to share that with you today and get to know her a little more. Irina, welcome to the Feel Podcast.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you for having me. I'm very
Oh,
excited.
it's so good to have you here. All right, let's get right into it. You describe yourself as rich, authentic, chronically creative, and empathetic. I love those. I think rich gives me such a full feeling. It's such a deep connection to yourself and the experiences that you seek, the way you live your life. Talk to me about how this is connected to how you show up for yourself and how you take care of yourself through your self-care and making sure that your resources are filled and you're ready to give the energy you have to offer each day as you meet with these different people you run into in the world.
So, as you said, rich for me, it's not only money rich, it's
Right.
internally rich. So, maybe I'll go a little bit back to my background. I live
Yeah.
in 4 different countries. I
Wow.
speak 4 languages, and I feel like I'm rich with cultures and
Mhm.
they're very different places. So, that's what I mean by rich. And going back to your question, how I fill my cup, maybe it's by
Mhm.
always my me time. That's
Mm.
very busy always. I was always independent. I had always my business. I worked maybe 1 year in my life for a big company in a
Okay.
salary position. So I need to structure my life usually by myself.
Sure.
And I have my rituals. So now I'm already an empty nester. My daughter is 29. And I have still 6 animals. I have 3 dogs and 3 cats. So the morning for me starts with feeding all the animals. And then I need to find the time for myself, which starts with a coffee and then yoga practicing, a little bit meditation, a little bit gratitude for what I have, and then getting ready for the day. So it's very important for me to have those little things for myself to have my peace.
Yeah, I love that. You have a very plan and a plan that you know works for you, which really goes nicely into confidently setting healthy boundaries. You've done that. You've created the space that's in your calendar. It's what you know you need every day. When did you realize that was necessary for you? Like, is this something that you've known for a long time, or did you have a point in time where you realized, I've got to really make sure I'm intentional about carving and creating out this time?
I definitely did because I'm coming from a background that was very controlling. I'm born in
Mm.
Union, so it
Wow.
was always very structured from the outside. So
Yeah.
I needed to learn on the hard way how to set my boundaries, my personal.
Mm.
There were a lot of expectations. Like when I was in the Soviet Union, we had school uniforms. We had to sit in the class like this with both hands on the table. If you wanted to speak, you needed to lift one hand. That
Wow.
was my upbringing. So it was very important to be like in certain brackets. And then I moved to Germany and had to reinvent myself. And then I lived in Israel for many years, which is a totally different country. So I had really to find, and Israel is also very male controlling and
Sure.
dominated by males.
Yeah.
Women are going to the army, but still, it's a very male
Yeah.
country. So
Yeah.
I had it really to learn it the hard way, to
Wow.
set my boundaries and still being me, myself, and doing what I want to do in a like without fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, that constant reinventing of yourself, getting to know when you come up in an environment where there's so many parameters that you have to live within and then learning how to live within yourself and who you are when you move out of that, that is a very like kind of a life reckoning story of like, who am I? How do I fit into this world when all of those, you know, I would guess kind of fear-based rhetoric is in place to keep you in line. When all of a sudden you can breathe a little bit, that has to be very like eye-opening, but a little terrifying because you've never gotten a chance to think about what that means for you without some kind of outside entity telling you what you can and can't do.
Yes. So also when we moved from Soviet Union to Germany, my parents in a way let me be by myself. I needed to be caring for my little sister. And on the other hand, there were a lot of expectations as well. So I
Yeah.
really needed to learn how to find myself in this whole story. And that's where the creativity comes in. I was
Mm.
when I started finding ways to take drawing classes, art classes, fashion, and all those things. So that's where I started actually. When I moved to Israel, I studied at the Academy of Art.
Oh,
That's
wow.
actually my background. I studied painting, sculpture, and then moved over to video
Oh, wow.
art.
Yeah.
And then later I was working for the Israeli television for many years. So that's
Mm.
background, stories of people, documentaries, news. That's my background.
Okay. Wow. So this whole creative outlet became this whole other new season avenue for you to explore and not only for yourself but became your work, which so many times happens when you find this thing you're aligned with. You're so fascinating to me because you've been in all these different spaces and places and you've continued to evolve and grow and get to know yourself in the process. We talk a lot on this platform about how our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health, they're all connected. They all need to be tended to. As you've moved from these different environments throughout the world, talk to me. Did you notice that impact on those things being connected? Is there any ways it showed up for you that it made you realize, oh, I need to tend to all these things as I continue to learn about myself in these different spaces?
Yes, I think so because I really have this holistic approach to my life, which is
Mm.
only like it's the food that I eat. It's very
Mm.
important for me to eat healthy. I'm not hardly eating outside somewhere. I'm preparing my food from scratch, including bread. So
Mm.
there's a lot to it to be just very connected to yourself. I think our health is really very wide, which is financial health, mental
Yeah.
health, physical health, and it's all one. You cannot be healthy without having like certain aspects in your life unhealthy. If you
Yeah.
have healthy relationships or your body is unhealthy or your mind is unhealthy or you eat unhealthy and then after a while you start feeling it like health wise again, so it's all connected and That's how I see our life. And financial health is very important too. And I'm working with a lot of women.
Yeah.
This is so important for us as women to learn to be independent and to know how to deal with money, how to have our own finances. We live longer than men, but men are actually a lot of times in control of our money. So a lot of times when the husband is passing away, the women are lost. My
Yes.
mother was lost like this. She suddenly lost my father. He was totally healthy, and suddenly they discovered cancer. He was gone within 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And then we realized that she never paid bills. I did not even know about that. She never paid bills by herself. She didn't know where to start. She didn't know what she has, what accounts she has. And I see a lot of women like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
very important for me to see also this aspect like a part of our health, because that's a peace of mind that women need to have in order to continue living.
well, yeah, and I think, you do such a good job of connecting with these women, connecting their stories to it. But you said something that's so important, and I think we don't talk about it enough is the stress that a lack of financial knowledge leaves us with, the fear, all these things. And I think we make it into this bigger thing. But then once you're able to step in and help them see and empower them that
Yes.
they can do that, the impact in a positive way that that has on their mental and emotional health, it relieves that stressors. They know where things are coming from. They know how to access things. They realize that they had it in them all along. It just had never been tapped into. So there's such an empowerment that comes with you doing this work. And I think, this really helps you and how you show up. I mean, you show up for yourself and supporting other women unapologetically in this. And what I mean by that is you're fully comfortable and confident in your knowledge of how you can help them. You
Yes.
saw it firsthand with your mother. Is that so? Talk to me about that transition. We talked about you being in Israel and being in this creative space and producing and behind the camera and all these things that creativity led you to. How did you get here? Because I met you in Southern California, last spring. So talk to me about the transition and how you got to the space you are today where you are able to support women in these financial areas that are so huge for them.
It is huge for me. First of all, I think everything we do, it starts from inside out. So, as an immigrant, finding myself quite in late 40s in America and starting over again and being afraid of what will happen. Where will
Yeah.
I go? I don't have all the background in America. I don't have the social security that I paid in for 20, 30 years. So that
Wow.
was my beginning actually to start looking at those things and connecting the strings. And
Yeah.
first of all, really, I'm coming from a background, again, I'm going back to the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Our culture was that money is a taboo. We don't talk about money. This is
Mm.
the thing. Money is a bad thing. We need to learn, we need to study, we need to develop mentally and, like the knowledge we have, but money is just not a good thing to talk about. So, I'm coming from a house that my parent never taught me. They had like expectations, but they never taught me how to deal with money actually. And then I started my new business in Israel and I had a very hard time to ask for payment.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from. I learned it really on myself, like how
Wow.
to set boundaries, how to ask for money, how not to like apologize. Excuse me, but
Yes.
I need the money for living, and it doesn't matter. I think we all deserve. I worked for this money. I deserve to get the payment. Simple as that. You don't have to explain yourself. And that's where I'm coming to today. Like that's again the unapologetic way to live. I don't have
Yeah.
to explain myself to everyone. It's just a simple thing. If we said I'm earning $20 a month, an hour, that's what I'm supposed to get after whatever, how many hours I worked. That's
Yeah.
the amount. Please pay that to me. That's all. But I was ashamed to ask for that money.
Wow.
That's
I
where I started then. I'm not
wow.
there more. So I learned the
Right.
hard way to build contracts and also to look into my future. And
Yeah.
that's what actually there's something very interesting that I'm doing right now. I'm starting to live my dream, which is very for many years I was looking at those TV shows where people go off grid and don't pay for a housing anymore or pay off something little and then just can live and earn money and save it for the future. And that was the question that I was asking myself all the time. The American dream is actually, or the idea of the American dream is to pay off your house, right? And to
Mhm.
401k
Yeah.
that will be retirement. Now,
Yep.
if you look at it, actually, is people get to the retirement age, they paid off the house, but the house is a liability. It will
Yeah.
still need repairs. It needs to be paid for. The material is getting old. So it's not that you paid off and it's done.
Right.
401k is something that you think, oh, now I will live of it. But you know what? You have a partner. There's
Mhm.
Uncle Sam sitting and he's getting his taxes.
Yes. Yes.
So those two things is actually something that I see a lot of people have this wrong idea of retirement. And when they get
Mhm.
to the retirement age, they actually cannot retire. And
Yeah.
they are far from being in a place to live a good and comfortable life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
uh, yeah, and
well, and
women, especially, let's say women again, they live longer. And if you have two social securities coming in, and
Mhm.
partner, unfortunately, usually often are the men, they are going
Yeah.
faster, younger. And then one of the social security payments is falling off too. So what do you have left? You have a partner in your 401k, and you have only one social security that is hardly
Yeah.
enough to. And then you
Yeah.
have a house that you still have to pay repairs and utilities, and you cannot eat the house. So what are you doing?
Exactly. It's not a gingerbread house. We
No,
can't bring
the walls are not tasty. So,
Yeah.
that's a big thing that I deal with a lot of people, especially women. I find women in their 70s, 80s that thought, and nowadays people are living easily till 90s and plus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's it's really coming from my fear. That's why I started learning about it because it was
Yeah.
really my fear. So where I started actually going to is that after watching all those TV shows about people who are intelligent in my eyes to get away from this expectation or this false illusion of American dream and get off. So what I did right now is actually I bought a fixer upper mobile home in the
Mhm.
ranch area, which is still close to Los Angeles, so that I can
Mhm.
still comfortably go to meetings. But I'm
Yeah.
outside in nature. I paid off this house, including the renovation. I'm gonna move in there next week. And the
Wow.
only expense I will have will be actually the land lease and like the little utilities, which will be a little bit above $1,000 a month.
Wow.
I feel like I'm gonna live my dream because whatever I will earn will be
Mhm.
actually for me, for my future. And I know that $1,000 you can always bring to the table, and it's not a huge amount that you don't have to worry about.
Right.
And that's what I think it's a very big thing in America. People are closed in their mortgages for 30 years or they refinance. So in their 50s, 60s, they refinance another 30 years. So when do you
Mhm.
think you want to retire? Can you
Right.
ever retire?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
a very big thing for me to look at people and see. Once I was asking, what age do you think you want to retire? But today I would say to everyone, retirement is not an age. Retirement
Mm.
is a lifestyle.
Mm.
And
I like that. I want to That is such a good way to put it because I think we go along in life and we don't and all of a sudden we get to our 50s, early 60s and but we haven't asked the questions. We've just like, oh, the things have built, and we've met with a financial advisor yearly, maybe we haven't, but all of a sudden we decide, okay, it's really time to sit down with them. I want to retire in X amount of years. And then you sit down, you're like, whoa. And
Yes.
instead, and which is what you're talking about, but that lifestyle piece, how do you want to live? How are you going to be able to live? What are your non-negotiables?
Yeah.
What is sustainable for you? That's such a great way to look at that. And congratulations on
Yeah.
this pursuit for you. I mean, that's very
I really
exciting.
can say that I'm gonna live my dream because my dream was being in nature. I don't need much. I need a nice little place that I can call my own, and
Yeah.
I will have that, including a little garden. So,
Oh,
and it's outside in nature. I have horse farms, ranches next to me.
yeah.
I do feel it's a kind of a dream because I will not have the pressure. And
Mm.
I can see, why I mean like retirement is a lifestyle because if you do what you like and you don't have to earn that money, but you are earning that money, so you can do a long time what you really like without being in pressure. There's a big difference if you have to earn your mortgage and your payments like
Yeah.
5,000. If you have to earn it while you're 70 or 70 plus, it's one thing. If you have everything you need and you still do what you like, that's your lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about because I think that my profession will give me the possibility to work long. I think it's like wine, it's just getting better. You
Yeah.
just get wiser, you just have more knowledge. And the good thing is that I will not have to
Yeah.
earn huge amounts. I want to earn money to provide for my future, yes.
Yeah.
Save more for the future, yes, but I don't want to spend it now on
Mhm.
just a house or just, something that is not so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Such smart planning. And I think, for people listening out there, and especially for women, if you don't know about your financials, get to know your financials. Don't
Yeah,
wait for the emergency to happen, the unexpected loss to happen, the divorce to happen, whatever the case may be. Get
yes.
to know it now. Start those, and also think about how do you want your life to look? And what's going to make that possible. There's you obviously, as you get older, you don't, from a housing standpoint, do you want to have enough space to host kids and grandkids, or will you be going to kids and grandkids place so you don't need as much space? I mean, all these conversations and things to think about so you can plan according to that, I think, is such a wise way to look at it. I love that approach. And I love how you have used what you've learned over time to inform that, which goes nicely into your why and your values. You have learned, you grew up a certain way where money wasn't talked about. This is something you had to learn the hard way. And so your
Yes.
why and your values around doing this work now, wanting to empower and help others to have that life, that retirement that they are hoping for, is such a strong correlation there. When did you transition into this financial side of work?
Yes, definitely. And I hold with Angela, with my partner, we do a lot of women's seminars and
Mhm.
workshops. One is called Hot Money Moves, which is actually making the money sexy
I
because
love that.
as you said, it's scary to look into the mirror. It's
Yeah.
scary to open the books. And we live in a society that spending is called savings.
Yeah.
Very funny because you're not saving, you're going to pay money, but they say, "Oh, your savings, come and save here," but you leave money on the table, so it's not savings.
Yeah.
We live in this society of this emotional spending. Like we think, oh, I worked hard, I deserve this. I'm driving home, oh, I feel like eating this or that. So you just stop on the way and you buy this and that. And you just spend and spend and spend. And even more since we have Amazon, it's just an addictive thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about others, I'm talking about myself. It's so comfortable to go, oh, I need this. Okay, you just buy it. You don't even feel the money because it's all online. You don't know how much you spent, and then you're surprised. And then
Yeah.
you get at the end of the month, oopsie, where's my money?
Yeah.
So we're teaching actually the women how to deal with the money in a way that you don't feel like you're punished. You don't want to be punished. You still
Right.
want to live a good life, but you want to be a little bit more in control of
Mhm.
your money. So there's, for instance, a rule. It's the 50-30-20 rule. So 50% of the earnings you spend on your utilities, the needs, right? The most important things. You cannot get away with that. Whatever you have, if it's mortgage, your car, gas, all those things, you cannot say, you know what, I'm not paying this. So
Yeah,
those
yeah.
you have to. That's the 50%. 30%, it's for the wants, like you can see
Mhm.
want what you need. And also there you can start looking different at the things like not buying impulsively whatever you feel like the moment. So there are
Yeah.
ways to deal with that, especially like there are ideas like put a sticker on the fridge. If you want it after a week, go and buy it. But sometimes we buy something the day after, you don't even remember you bought it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then 20%, the last piece is actually put it away for your future. And
Mm.
better ways than the 401ks. We can deal with money that is actually tax free, where we
Mm.
won't have any partners. Like
Yeah.
401k, if you have 100,000, you will leave to Uncle Sam 20-30% when you take money out, right?
Wow.
Historically, we know that taxes are just growing. So if you pay now 20, how much will it be in 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But
only
there
going up. It's not going down.
I'm saying there's no way that it will go down. I wish, but it won't.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
historically, if you look at it, it's just growing. So
Yeah.
whatever we pay now, it will be more later. So there are ways to earn your money, pay the taxes now, and put it in
Mhm.
programs that will be tax free later.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm helping people to deal with. Like you can accumulate your money and let it grow tax free. So later, when you take it out, you don't have anyone to give your
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
It's all your.
Wow.
So that's very important to understand those things as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Getting
I think
away
it's so
getting away from those old ideas of 401k and house, like all
yeah.
those huge amounts that we pay for nothing, I think, in the
Yeah.
end of the day. Like,
Yeah, and how much happiness do so many of those things actually bring us? Like, for instance, let's say it's important to you in retirement, you wanna be able to travel. Okay, so what's gonna be possible for you to do that? If you're gonna be traveling all the time, do you need a big house with a, you know, 2, 3, $4,000 mortgage sitting there? When, probably not. So, I mean, I think but I think the mistake we make is we wait until we're in the moment to make the decision instead of, backtracking. And I think this is where you really help women. It's like, let's plan for later now. You're planning for yourself for later now. So how
yes,
can I live now and live later according to what I want to? And I think also too, yeah, the online buying, the Amazon has changed everything. People just sit there and click and it's
yes,
delivered the next day. And it's not till you see the bill that you're like, oh, what was that?
yes,
Um, so I think we have kind of, especially in this capitalistic culture, a misguided idea of needs. Do
yes,
you need that? No, you want that. But what is and this for me, shopping can be such a numbing exercise. So what is driving that? What emotions do you need to go back and address, deal with? What hard thing is happening in your life? What thing is making you uncomfortable? That's actually just creating more of a problem by you built, using this mechanism. So there's a lot of things. So things that you can do to hold yourself accountable of like, there's the 24-hour rule, there's the 1 week rule, there's the simply, why am I doing this rule? And really being honest about what's a want versus what's a need.
yes, yes, totally. What's a want and what's a need, and also the needs we can make lower.
Yeah.
The wants, of course, we can make lower. And I just remember the time when COVID started, and
Mhm.
scary to go to the shops because I was afraid to get sick, and it
Sure.
was it was looking like, it will be like everyone will die. So I was really afraid.
Yeah.
Then I realized, I lived myself the way that I'm talking about. Like I would,
Mhm.
my pantry was very wide. My pantry was Trader Joe's, Sprouts, So where you go, oh, I feel like this and that, and you have food in the fridge, but you stop at
Yes.
Trader Joe's, you get this and that, and that and this, and then the things in the fridge are getting bad.
Yes.
So
So true.
when COVID started, I was shopping maybe once in 2, 3 weeks, and then I would finish up everything I have. And you know what? You spend less. You
Yeah.
don't buy just because you feel like, and you see
Yeah.
how much money you have left actually in your pocket when you just live the way that let's finish everything we have.
Yeah.
Why should I like the tomatoes are rotting in the fridge because I felt like cucumbers? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So doing that kind of inventory each day or however you plan your meals, what's in here that I can use so it
Yeah.
doesn't go bad and I'm not wasting that, before I that is such a good point. And that's those little things add up. I mean, those
Yes.
little things add up. And even just cooking for yourself, preparing meals at home, A, healthier, B,
Yes.
less expensive. Like there's a double win there. I don't love to cook, but I have figured out ways that I can get what I need from a healthy standpoint and
Hmm.
and, and simplified it. Like it doesn't have to be these extravagant things. I am a big fan of throwing some salmon and some veggies on a platter and seasoning them and throwing them in the oven for 35, 40 minutes, and there's my dinner, and with a side of rice or roasted potatoes, and I'm good to go. I mean, or salad. There's just things that you can do to simplify it even if you don't love to cook like me. And I've figured that out because it makes, again, it goes back to impacting all those parts of our health, our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health, our financial health. They're all connected.
Yes. And that's what when I came to the US, I'm gluten free, I'm sugar free by choice, not because I
Mhm.
have to.
Yeah.
And I realized how unhealthy the food in America is because my habit is actually anything I buy, I will turn around and see the ingredients.
Yeah.
And almost every second or third ingredient is like sugar or corn syrup. And you don't
Yeah.
know why it has to be there. And then the
Yeah.
longer the list is, the worse actually the food is because if you don't understand what you read there, it means that
Yeah.
it's not for anyone.
Yeah. The additives, the chemicals. I mean, if there's
Yeah, that's really bad. And there are people, they say, they add so many chemicals that even bacteria doesn't want to eat it. But you know what? You want actually bacteria to eat it because then it's actually a fresh
yeah.
product.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to look at that in a totally different way. And if you look at it from this point, a lot of Americans nowadays, they suffer from overweight,
Mhm.
from cancer. We have cancer everywhere and other allergies, and it's coming from bad additives into our food. So
Yeah.
I think the cheaper way is actually, yes, to go back to the roots and eating healthy, and it's going back to the holistic approach of life because people who have those health issues,
Mhm.
they are not insurable, and
Yeah.
that's a bad thing too because
Another impact of retirement and figuring out your health insurance.
exactly. So if you don't have enough money, you didn't take care of your health, but it will catch up with you because we say it's about 70% of our population that will need long-term care one day.
Wow. And I
And
know from my own experience of going through it with my in-laws, that is not inexpensive. Oh,
it's
that is
very
so
expensive.
expensive.
And if we see in California, it's one of the most expensive states in
Yeah.
America. It's crazy. It's like at least 10, 20% higher than any other place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Wow.
need to think about it. It's all actually one. The younger you are,
Yeah.
the faster you start taking care of your health, what you eat, of your finances, because the younger you are, the more time you have to accumulate money for later. There
Yeah.
are programs that let your money grow in a secure way, but you will have a huge income later. You
Yeah.
can start for your children even.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but it's all one. It's all one.
Yes.
The more you look at it as one health approach to
Yeah.
everything, to your mind, your body, your finances, that's how I see it. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm coming back to how I came here. It's
Mhm.
actually all one. Because if
Yeah.
you're stressed financially, you don't know from what money you will live, or if you're sick, you don't know how you will pay for doctors or how
Yeah.
you pay for help, like
Yeah.
long-term care. That's a very bad thing. It's shortening our life as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That's so good. You talked about this already, but living out of your own expectations versus others, this is something you've grown into because so much of your life, expectations were handed over to you based on the cultures and spaces you were living in. Now you've gotten to a point today where I feel like you're really able to finally live out of your own expectations in a way that is aligned with you. Talk to me about the difference and how that feels to be there now versus what you knew for much of your life before.
I'm 55. I know who I am today. So
Mhm.
there's maybe when I was younger, I was wondering, who am I?
Yeah.
What can I do? What can't I do? But today I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. I know who I am, and I know my values. So when I look at what I'm doing,
Mhm.
actually, a lot of times I want to be happy with the woman I see. So I really
Mm.
don't need the approval from somebody else to tell me, hey, you didn't
Yeah.
behave. you know, it's something that I want to be okay with myself, whatever I do. So that's where I also put my boundaries. If there's, for instance, people that are not behaving the way I like, I will remove myself. So that's my
Yeah.
boundary. I don't want to
Yeah.
waste my energy anymore on things that are not important or not bringing something good to my life.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
somehow conserving more my power. I'm conserving my peace more. So that's very, very important to me.
Yeah. Well, and I think something else you've been able to do here, and I call this embracing layers. You've been able to embrace all the pieces and parts of your life, take what you needed to learn from that season, and then have applied it to the next. And that can be complex because there's parts of our lives and our journey sometimes that we don't like, or we wish we didn't have to go through, or we wish hadn't happened to us. And at some point, I tell people when I'm working with women, in order for you to really understand and comprehend your value, it's important for you to learn how to embrace all these different layers and parts of you. I feel like in our conversations and meeting you and having this conversation today, that's a place you've really gotten to. Talk to me about what it has taken for you to get there, to be able to take all that, the spaces you lived in that you loved, that you didn't, and really kind of help it inform and learn from and how you show up today.
Yeah, that's interesting because the layers are again, if I can remember, and again, in America, I had the same thing. I was a stranger in every place. I
Yeah.
was, I came with nine to Germany and I
Mm.
was sure. So I'm Jewish, but I was called the Russian because I came from the Soviet Union. So it
Wow.
was always, and then the first year or 2 years maybe, we had fights at school because I was the only stranger in the whole school. So I was
Wow.
held a red flag for them. We had a lot of fights. So I had to stand up for myself. And on the other hand, I came to Germany much more educated than other children. I only
Mm.
finished last 2 school years in Russia in the Soviet Union, and I started in the fourth class in Germany because I had much more knowledge, like in math and other things. And I just had to learn German, which was kind of fast for me, luckily.
Okay. Sure.
So
Good.
I learned that, but I had a lot of fights. So that was the first thing until I established myself, and then I
Yeah.
became like this special girl that was doing arts, and I was like maybe more. I became grown up faster, I think.
Yeah.
So with
Yeah.
14, I was already actually a grown up girl. I was
Wow.
a totally different person, and then with 23, I decided to go to Israel because again, all my years in Germany, I said, we're Jewish, so how do you live in Germany as a Jew with all the
Yeah.
history?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I decided to go to Israel. Again, same thing. I come to Israel and I have to learn the language. I have 6 months because I was accepted to the Academy of Art, but they said you need
Okay.
to speak Hebrew.
Oh, wow.
Only 6 months to learn Hebrew in order to start studying. So I'm jumping one class in between to finish 3 layers of Hebrew classes in order to start. So I did that. Same thing. My Hebrew was not good enough. So I remember being always ashamed, and I would stand in front of my class and feel like the red is coming up,
Yeah.
glowing. My ears were glowing. So, I was always kind of the stranger, and the same started here. I came to the US because after many years in Israel, I felt like this love hate. It's a beautiful country, but it's always dangerous. It's always struggle. And
Mm.
sadly, I had to say I really didn't want to be there anymore. I
Yeah.
wanted a calmer life. So I came to the US, and I do believe we have a lot of freedom and possibilities out here.
Mm.
And who am I? Am I
Mm.
German, Russian, Jewish?
Yeah.
Who am I? But you know what? I feel like I'm everything. I'm all
Mm.
of these. I'm
Yeah.
speaking 3 languages every day. I have friends that I'm speaking Russian with. I have friends I'm speaking Hebrew with. I'm speaking English, of course, every day. German
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes it's funny because I come to a person and I start speaking, and they look at me like, "What's going on?" And I said, "You speak a different language." So I don't even realize sometimes that I speak a different language to a person.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. You've got so many. I think it's remarkable to be fluent in that many languages. I think that's incredible. Thank you for weaving us through your story and all the pieces and parts of it. There's so much tapestry. And I go back to your character trait of rich. This really brings it all together. It's a rich, complex, difficult, beautiful, nuanced layering of your life. It has all those pieces and components to it. You've been able to embrace that. You've been able to learn and evolve and grow and adapt, and which
Mhm,
has really brought you to this ability to live out what I call feel. You have found your empowerment. You have embraced your layers. You talked about earlier how you're mindful about relationships, the people you surround yourself with, and knowing who you're going to give your energy to and who and what you're not going to give your energy to. When do you think you were able to kind of realize the importance of who you surround yourself with?
I think we're always on the way. I cannot say that I'm ready product.
Yeah.
I think it's always a development. It's like
Yeah.
I would yeah, it's something that I realize it, and sometimes I'll fall back and then I'll try again. So it's never something that I would say I'm done. That's who I am. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
we're And I think it's sad when there are people they say this is what this is who I am. This is a person who is limiting himself or herself.
Yeah.
I think we
Mm.
are always learning, we're always developing. I heard Deepak Chopra, he explains it very nice too. He says, when I was 18, I remember the body I was living in.
Mm.
Because you know what? You don't look
No.
like you were with 18, right? So we know
Right.
it's us. But actually, we changed already the house, the body we live in. We're not the same outside. We
Yeah.
feel maybe the same, but we're not the
Mm.
same anymore. So
Yeah.
I like the idea of seeing everything like that too. I lived in that body then. Now I'm living in this body. I don't know what body will be when I'm 70.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the same is with our mind. I think we're just
Mm.
growing. And if we say it is what it is, then we're limiting ourselves. I think we change and we're allowed to change.
Yeah.
We
I
can change
love
our
that.
opinion, we can change our mind if we understand something. Some
Mm.
people understand something with 80, some understand with 50. So I think
Yeah.
that's the beauty of our life, that we can learn more and become something different or add on to what we have.
Mm. Yeah. I love that. The curiosity, I love that so much. You'll run into people sometimes. And I had this experience a while back. We were at dinner with a group of people, and this woman in the group stated, "This is how I am. I'm not changing. I'm at this point now." And I'm like, that's such a limiting way to live. And she was one of those people too, where she wasn't you could tell she was unsettled,
Mhm.
she wasn't content. In many aspects. And so I was like, embrace the curiosity. There's always room to evolve, change, grow. You learn more. You might decide something you thought you believed. You learn more and you realize, oh, I don't believe that anymore. And that's okay. That's a good thing. I think that it adds to our life. It keeps our lives fresh and vibrant as we allow that continuation of figuring out who we are and learning more and more about that.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
and that's in every field, I think, and our
Yeah.
needs change. So I think the most important thing is to be again close to yourself, to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that yoga is teaching me that a lot because it's teaching me to be the viewer of myself,
Mm.
to react, to respond. Like there's a nice sentence that says, yoga starts when you want to exit the position you're in.
Mm.
Sometimes you stand in a position and you say, wow, look at this. I can stand like this. And then you say, okay, that's enough. And I feel my leg hurting or my breath is getting heavier. And I say, okay, it's enough, right? No, it's not enough. So now stand there and say, oh, that's interesting. My leg hurts. And you still stand there and try not to, not to be like, just cramp up, just seeing what you feel without reacting. And I think that's what we can take to our life as well.
Yeah.
Responding when we feel it's the right moment, but not reacting. This back and forth, that's a lot of time a bad thing, I think.
Yes, I think so too. I love the way you explained that. Thank you so much. All right, we are winding down here. Name 5 activities that nourish you.
So we started yoga.
Mhm.
I love art and music, nourish
Mhm.
me a lot. I love preparing food, healthy food.
Mhm.
What do we have? 3. I love nature
Mhm.
and I love good company. So
Mhm.
that's the thing. Those things are nurturing me a lot in my life.
Yeah, I love that. All right, 5 words on how you want to feel the next 6 months.
Hmm. I want to feel joy.
Mm.
I want to feel lightness. I want to feel security. I love feeling purpose
Mm.
and peace. I
Yeah,
think inner peace, it's a very important thing.
yeah.
That's how we can usually function the best when we are not stressed.
Absolutely. Clear heads, present. Absolutely. Yeah. I love that so much. Irina, tell people where they can find you and follow you, work with you. If they're like, they heard you today, like, oh, she's the financial advisor I need in my life. How can they find you?
They can find me on Perennial Insurance, Irina, perennialinsurance.com.
Okay.
That's simple. They can email me, they can call me. And I would love just to hear what people have, what they want. There's not one cookie cutter form for everyone.
Yeah.
Where the life story comes in, it's important to hear the person and see what they need and what they want.
Yeah.
Everyone is different and there is not one way to deal with things. So if I think my way is great to have a little fixer upper, it doesn't mean it fits you, but you can do your way, something that will make you happy. So, it's
Yeah.
that's why I like listening to people and just finding a creative way to help them.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So good. All right. Any last thoughts you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
I would like the women to be connected to themselves, not
Mm,
for to get the okay from outside. All answers are inside. So I
mm,
think that's the most important thing, to take the time to listen to your heart.
yeah. Yes. Ah, so good. I don't need to add anything to that, ladies. That's what you're taking with you today. So good. Irina, thank you so much for your time today. I'm so glad our paths crossed. I
This
so
was
appreciate.
really nice talking to Melissa. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, listeners, you heard what Irina said. Connect with yourself, trust that what's already within you. Thank you for listening with us here today on the Field Podcast. We'll see you next time. Take care. Hello, and thank you so much for being with us today on this episode of the Feel Podcast. If you would like more information on how you can apply these talking points that I share with our guests in each episode to your own life, really utilize this Feel framework, go to embracinglayers.com, fill out our contact form, and let's set up a free 30-minute consultation to talk about how you can start living your most authentic, organic, healthy, feel fueled life. Thanks again for being with us today. We'll be back to you soon with another episode here on the Feel Podcast.